Hey guys, what's up? Nico again here. And in this 3D Printed Profits episode, I am joined by May from Australia. What's going on, May?
Hey,
May, why don't you share
um,
with us what time it is over there?
it's 4:30 a.m.
4:30 in the morning. That is dedication, right? Um, I know when I first started Nico Industries, I was waking up at about 4 to do about an hour of work on my website, and I would drive an hour to work for 12 hours and come back and work on it again. So I get it. The hustle is there and I'm here
Yes.
for it. I love it. Um, so Mariah, why don't you tell us how did you get started in 3D printing? I mean, did you just was you were like, oh hey, that sounds cool. How did it all work?
It was fairly accidental, actually. So my partner had wanted a 3D printer for forever. And kept asking to get one, kept asking to get one. He ended up, so we have shared finances. He ended up saving up his own personal money to buy one. And he showed me a video online of the articulated dragons on TikTok that you can print. And I'm a huge fantasy nerd, so pretty much as soon as he showed me that, I was like, "All right, you can get one." Um, so he built the first printer, and just it was love at first sight. And then our neighbor saw a dragon that we printed and wanted one, and it just snowballed. So it happened sort of very organically and accidentally for us, but very much just started out of just a pure hobby. It's something we both really, really enjoy.
That's awesome. So do you sell locally or do you sell online?
We do have an online store, but one of the things that we found was that the online market seems to be really saturated.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a look around and realized that there weren't many people doing it locally. So we've sort of gotten in on the ground floor with markets in our area.
Mm-hmm.
And we find that a lot of people either have no idea and have never seen it before, or they've seen it online and haven't found anyone local selling. So it's been a lot of fun. Starts a lot of really cool conversations, going around to these markets, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, so 3D printing really does it brings I found that it brings people together. It's in its own weird maker way, right?
Yeah, it's
So
sort of it can bring a lot of different subsections together.
right,
So you've got your people who
right.
are interested in tech, you've got your people who are interested in D&D, you've got your new agey sort of culture, and it's sort of there's something to interest everyone.
Right. Even the car guys are like, "Oh yeah," and then you got the prop guys and just it brings everybody together. It's amazing.
Mm.
So what was the first machine that you guys bought? What was that first, like, yeah, you go ahead and get that.
You wanna popping in here?
Hi, I'm David. So the first machine we got was an Elegoo Neptune 2S.
Oh wow, that's fairly new. Wait, when was
Yeah,
this? When did you
this
guys first
was
start?
late 2021. I think we got it, sort of
Oh
December
wow,
2021.
okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, not too long ago at all.
Yeah, so we've been doing the business side of things for probably just under 12 months.
Okay.
So very new at it.
So you
Um,
got the Neptune 2S and how much do those cost now?
350?
They're about
250 to 20,
350
right?
Australian
Okay, so
Australian
250
dollars.
Australian, so about 220 US.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Um,
So that was the first one. And we bought that from our personal
Yeah.
finances. And then the business grew pretty much quick enough that all of the other ones have been paid for with profit from the first one.
right. So you took the profits and you invested it back into the business to increase production.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. And how many printers are you guys up to now?
10.
Oh, that was quick. Wow, you
So
guys
my
did it
father-in-law did
snowballs.
invest. But most of them we've bought ourselves with the profits from the business. And David's kind of a tech whiz, so he will be on marketplace, buy a secondhand one and clean it up and fix it up to purpose. So we've got a few that way too.
That was just last week's episode. Adrian. So what he would do is he'd find one for like $20, and then he'd look at it and he's like, oh, it's because you didn't do supports. And then
Yep.
right. And then the person who's using it was like, oh, there's spaghetti everywhere. I was like, dude, you got to use supports. And there's nothing wrong with the machine.
Yeah, we've had a lot of that. One I see a lot is the printer's not level anymore, so selling.
It could be as simple as bed leveling.
Yeah. Yep. So I think a lot of people treat it like another appliance, and don't really take into account that there's a lot of technical aspects. So yeah, another thing that we sort of do is we sort of offer like very basic consulting services, and like, hey, did you know you can just do this and it's still perfectly fine.
Nice. So you guys are also doing consulting services on top of the
Yes.
printed materials. Because that's cool. No one's been on the show that does that, as far as I can remember.
Yeah, it's not the main breadwinner. I think we've only sort of done one or two jobs in that vein. But it is sort of, as printers are picking up in popularity, it is something that's very much sort of missing in that sphere, because you get a lot of kids who get them as Christmas presents, and then these parents are just sat there like,
yeah, they don't know what they got into. Yeah.
So that's something that we're sort of getting the name out there and starting that sort of conversation of, it's really not that hard if you have someone to point you in the right direction. Right.
So that's a cool part that you guys added onto your business. Speaking of business, what is the profit on the business currently, like the average?
Average would probably be around 1,000 to 2,000 a month, depending how many markets we do. So it's very dependent at the moment. Like I said, we've only been going for just under 12 months. But we found that sort of in the September to December period, we'll easily be doing 1,500 to 2,000 per market. And
per market. Now, when you say per market, are you talking about like an
event? Yeah.
Okay.
So per event. So in Australia, we have heaps and heaps of markets. You can find weekly ones. They just pop up everywhere. Everyone comes, sets up a tent, starts selling. It's a very big thing here.
Yeah, they're starting to pop up everywhere. I feel like there's a Comic-Con every month.
Yeah, they're good too. It's, I think a lot more people are wanting to slow down and support themselves and run their own thing. So I'm finding a big increase in markets at the moment too, because a lot of people are sort of wanting to do that side hustle and work for themselves.
Yeah.
Which works for us.
The
There's
market,
more events.
it's definitely changed, right? People are like, I feel like everyone has a side hustle now.
Yes. Well, with cost of living, you have to.
Right. I mean, that could be a different podcast for a different time. You know what I mean? Like we'll be here easily for a couple hours just on my views alone on why we need settle. Okay, we're gonna go off. We're gonna continue.
Yeah. Well, our expected profit this year, we're looking at probably around the 3,000 a month, depending how many events we do. And the idea with it is most of it goes back into the business to keep growing it. But the other part is that it, I lost my train of thought. It acts as my wage because I'm a stay-at-home mum.
Okay, that was my next question. What do you do as far as a day job?
Well, my partner and I had an agreement that I'd get 1 year off from work when I had the baby, and then we just hit that, and business is now my income, so I don't have to go back.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about the freedom, isn't it?
Yes, most definitely. And with 3D printing, it's something I can do with all 3 kids at home. You set prints up, keep an eye on the website, and you can spend your day with the kids when they're not at school. Yeah, and it's really handy because I have stepchildren, and we have a 50-50 schedule. So we try and schedule markets for when the kids aren't with us.
Right.
So I'll work the weekend that the kids aren't with us, and then we've got the weekend with them completely free. Or they come with us and they love it too. They earn a lot of pocket money that way.
I bet they do.
Yeah.
So how did you get your first clients? Like, so you mentioned your neighbor wanted the dragon.
Yes. So our first customer was our next door neighbor. We have a very close knit community around us. And our neighbor, I think she saw me out in the front yard taking photos of the dragon we'd printed, because I was trying to get some nice social media photos done.
Right,
she saw it.
sure.
She was like, "Oh my goodness, what is that?" And she's just absolutely obsessed with dragons, loves dragons.
I don't know one person who doesn't like a dragon.
Yeah, she said, I need to have it. I don't care what you charge me, but if
what did you charge her?
One,
just out of curiosity.
Well, she said if we printed her one, she was going to post it all over her social media. And she has quite a big following. She's very, very active there. I learned a lot from her about the social media side of things. So I think we ended up selling it to her for $15.
$15 plus exposure.
Yes.
Hey, that works for me, man. All right.
Yeah, we sort of on the day that I think it took us 4 or 5 attempts to get this dragon printed, because we hadn't got any of our settings right. Had no idea what we were doing. So it took us a solid week and a half to get it to her. And then we made sure that we were paying royalties to the creator, which is something that we really value. There's amazing creators out there who deserve their dues for the stuff they make. And yeah, sold it to her for $15. And the next day we get a message from a friend of hers who wanted one. And it just snowballed from there. So when her friend wanted one, we actually delivered it to her at a convention, and again, discounted price, because she wanted to display it at this convention. And I think we got 4 or 5 orders from that.
Super worth it, right?
Yeah. And like I said, it just snowballed very organically.
That was a crash course in organic marketing. Crash course.
For sure. Yeah. Absolutely not what we were expecting at all.
No, I mean, that's normally how my interviews go, right? So I'll talk to people and they'll say, yeah, I sold one. Next thing I know, I'm neck deep in orders. I had to use the profits from, what I sold to buy more machines because I couldn't keep up. Next thing I know, I'm 10 machines deep. It's only been 3 months. Does that sound familiar?
Yes. That's yeah. Telling my story.
So did you guys stick with Elgato?
Mostly. So all but 3 of our printers are the same model. That's partially for my benefit. I'm not the most technically inclined. So the fact that they're all the same means that I can keep up with it and maintain them. We also have, I'm not sure on the other models, but we've purchased a dual color printer. We have another cheaper secondhand one that we devote to pet G prints. And we have a giant printer that my partner's currently had completely sequestered for a custom project that he's designing for someone. So we've got here, I've got it here. So we've got the Creality CR10 Max, a Creality Ender 3, and a G-Tech.
Gotcha. Okay. So how did you guys take that traction, right? So it's snowballed. Are you guys selling on Etsy? Yeah, you guys have your own website. How are they finding you?
So we sort of did away from Etsy. We did
That's been a
start
common
up.
theme too.
Yeah, we did start up looking at it, and that was sort of the recommendation that we got from a lot of we've made a lot of friends through markets, and a lot of their recommendations is to sell on Etsy. But what we sort of found is you search dragons and there are 1,000 results before it will get to you. So we very much just stuck to like your Facebook and Instagram. And we found that at each event, there'd be people who've never seen this kind of thing before. They'd take a card, they'd pass it on to their friends. So we sort of just really capitalized on being first on the scene at physical events. So most of our business is done through Instagram. We find that that's our most trafficked platform, I guess. And we use Square, and they have a system for an online store and an online website that's very easy to follow, low in fees, and we found that works really, really well. Because 90% of people find us either in person or on social media, and then we can just direct them to the online store.
Gotcha. And what filament do you guys use for your models?
We mostly use eSun.
Do you use any like color changing, dual colors?
Yes. So we're still branching out into that. In Australia, I think we're a bit more limited for options.
Yeah. Australia, I feel bad because Australia, like, it's so limited over there. It sucks.
It really is. It's improving. It's improving slowly. Some of our suppliers are starting to come out with some really cool stuff. So we're catching up slowly. We do as much rainbow as we can. We find that's really, really popular. The rainbow filaments are always really eye-catching, I guess. We also do a lot of color changes. So something we found really popular is we just stop the print halfway through, change the color, and they seem to be really, really popular. People just like things with more colors than one. But we also find a lot of our market seems to be children or people with special needs, because all of our models move and they're very tactile. So we actually find things in sort of the $15 price point in a single color are our best sellers and seem to sort of prop up the sales for everything else to sort of go once in a while, because people really enjoy that tactile and sensory movement of them.
No, that's very interesting. You said that you priced them at $15 for them. Is that the average price of your product?
So that's for our baby model. So that's definitely sort of what like the kids like. That's our most affordable option. So our prices range from $15 to about $55.
Okay.
Currently, I've had a request. Somebody wants me to design a dragon as like a Halloween decoration. So we'll see how that goes. We do a lot of sort of custom requests.
Okay, so like you guys do design as well.
Yes, very, very basic.
That's all right.
Definitely teaching ourselves as we go.
I know a guy.
But yeah.
Sorry. Shameless plug. If you guys want to learn Blender,
absolutely, yeah.
The link for that is going to be in the description below.
Okay, awesome.
Shameless plug. It's my show. I can do what I want.
Oh yeah, you've got to.
So you guys are using Elegoo. You guys are using eSun. Let's talk about struggles here for a little bit. What struggles did you guys first have, and how did you get over that?
Probably mostly the technical side of things. We had a lot of failures. We started off using just $30 filament from eBay and found that we just couldn't get it started. We'd get halfway through a print and it'd just fail. We had no idea what was going on. We had someone order a dragon, and I think it took us a good month to actually finally get it printed.
Oh wow, a whole month.
Yeah, it took a long time. It took us a while to sort of sort through the troubleshooting list that you eventually get. We ended up buying a dehydrator to the filament and running through. I think we found that a lot of it was user error. And it was just sort of because it happened so quickly, we didn't have time to get acquainted and really learn the ins and outs of the printing.
Man, the persistence is there though. A whole
Yeah.
month for a dragon, that's a long time.
Um,
That's a long time.
I'm probably exaggerating a little bit.
Even at
But it
2 weeks for a dragon is like, man, you know, you know what I mean? But hey, you guys got through it. There is a learning curve to 3D printing, and I think
mm,
that's why it's not as, excuse me, it's not as mainstream
yeah.
as it should be, as it can be.
Yeah, I think a lot of people sort of get very overwhelmed with the amount of things that the issue could be.
mhm.
We sort of just have a laundry list that we run through, and we'll just be like, all right, it's not that, it's not that, it's not that. The hot end is dusty. Like that's why we haven't had a successful print in 2 days.
No.
So
That was good.
yes,
So how else does a business make money? You mentioned design and you mentioned consulting.
yeah.
Do you guys sell any of your designs?
So a lot of what happens, a lot of what sort of my partner helps out with is one thing that we get a lot of traction with at events, but we'll sort of talk about that we can do custom work and just ask us. We're both very persistent and love a puzzle. So whenever someone comes at us with something new, it's always really exciting. We had one lady, we're still working on it. She wanted a custom recreation of her house for a letterbox.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so that's been a really long project. It paid for the printer that it needed. That's for the big printer. And we're still going. We've done the veranda and the roof, but it's needed to be printed in about 10 or something different prints, and it's been a very big undertaking, but a lot of fun.
I can see
Um,
that.
yeah.
What
And the
design
finished
software are
product
you
will just be
using
so
for
cool.
design?
We use a mixture of um, Blender. We were using Tinkercad originally just because it's very, very user friendly for the simple things. Sorry, you can hear my daughter. She's
I'm sure people are gonna
not,
love this episode.
yeah, she's not overly fussed with the early wake ups. And we also use Fusion 360.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's a mixture of everything, right?
Yeah, just sort of whatever suits. So
They're
like I
all
said, we
free, by
just
the way, you guys. Fusion 360, Tinkercad, and Blender, they're all free.
yeah,
There's really no reason for you to buy Maya or ZBrush. Yes, I know it's
yeah.
industry standard, but if you once you guys get Blender, I promise there's no reason for Maya or ZBrush to really.
Yeah, it's
Because they sell it at an outrageous price. It's so outrageous. Like, dude, what?
yep.
$1,600, $1,600 for Maya. Mind blowing.
My partner's one of those people who wants the best of the best and wants the best system and doesn't want to pay for it. So
Yeah, no, there's no
he
reason.
definitely cycles through until he finds the good ones. So
Um, so what profit margin are you guys targeting for this for the toys? Is it just toys? Or do you guys sell anything else?
so we do a lot of print on demand. So like I said, we're doing the letterbox. We do oh goodness, we've done custom parts for jukeboxes. So we know quite a few
That's interesting.
collectors.
Jukeboxes.
Um,
I know one of my episodes, this guy, he does great with, he 3D prints stuff for pinball machines. Like what?
yeah,
And he makes great money. Like that's a great side hustle.
yeah. If you
And
can
now
get
I guess
in,
jukeboxes too.
yeah, I think there are a lot of collectors who really slog through trying to find parts and stuff. And it's something that the 3D printing can really fill that void there. So we've made custom rubber stoppers for someone who collects like antique genie bottles.
What?
Yeah, there's
That is
so many things.
antique genie bottles. So I guess that's printed in TPU.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so you have a direct drive extruder.
No.
No. So how are you printing in TPU?
Neptune on the
Really? It
Neptunes.
does TPU stock?
Yeah.
Interesting. Because
We
normally
are.
TPU is done with direct drive.
We found that the
Now, I can see David in the
Neptune.
back because you're looking at him like, do we have direct drive?
Yeah. He was just like, no, we don't have
No, we
that.
don't sell stock. You guys crack me up.
We are looking at getting a dedicated printer for TPU. It just hasn't been the filament that we've needed to dedicate much to. We've sort of had the odd thing here or there. If we were doing more work in that, we'd definitely get something that was a bit more suited. But we found that the Neptune does well so far, and David designed and printed himself a phone case in TPU recently.
Nice.
Didn't want to pay for one, so he just made one himself.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
So your website, what platform are you guys using? Are you using WordPress? Are you using Shopify? What are you using?
So we're using Square. They
Okay.
have a system where you can set up a website. And I find it very user friendly and very intuitive. Like I said, I've got 3 kids, very busy. So if it's intuitive and easy to use, I can do it while I'm chasing people around the house. And it links in with everything. So it's very, what's the word? It's compatible with a lot of other different things. So I can link our Square store to Etsy when or if we decide to do that. It links with a lot of accounting software that's available in Australia. So it's just a very easy system, and it's also what we use for our in-person payments.
Gotcha.
The card reader and
very convenient.
very convenient.
Does all the analytics, all that other stuff, correct?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about marketing for a second, because I know a lot of people watch these for the marketing, like for the ideas. And you mentioned you use a lot of Instagram for your marketing.
Yes.
What can you tell us about how to market on Instagram to get customers?
It's really just it's consistency. So I find if we're being consistent, sort of 1 to 2 posts a day, we get a lot more traffic. When life gets busy and you sort of let that slide, you find that it really sort of peters off and you see those views drop. And then when you're back up and being more consistent, it keeps rising. I also find that just really making sure you're letting people know what you're doing, where you are. People really enjoy that. They enjoy the behind the scenes stuff. So we post a lot of like what's on the printers. We post a lot of, I like doing cutesy photos of the dragons out and about, and people just find that really enjoyable. So we'll sort of have one sitting on our car while we're out doing something. And you sort of you find the things that people go, oh, that's really cute, I want to show my friend. So it's sort of just finding what niche works for you and working with that. So like I said, we found that our market tends to be really directed towards sort of parents and children. And we have a lot of friends who are very much in sort of the new age stream of things. So we do a lot of things that are sort of marketed towards your more spiritual types, and we find that stuff does really well too. So those are sort of our two focuses and our 2 little niches. And once you sort of have your niche, it's a lot easier to tailor towards that. And that's the sort of stuff that they will share with other people who are like-minded, I
guess. Gotcha. So do you guys post more photos, or do you guys post video as well? Or is it more video than photos?
More photos. It's it's hard to take videos of the baby screaming. We are increasing the video side of things. We're finding them really, really popular. TikTok is absolutely fantastic.
You guys are on TikTok resource as well.
Yeah, we're on TikTok
I
as
think
well.
TikTok just started doing like their slides where you can put photos and they'll have video and it'll do the
Yeah.
slideshow for you. They just started doing slideshows.
Yeah, it's very, again, all of these platforms, your sort of Instagram and TikTok are very intuitive. They're all interconnected. So if you post something on TikTok, you can automatically post it somewhere else. One of the things I found is it is really handy to have different content going up on your different pages.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all very intuitive. So just keeping up that sort of that public face, I guess. People see that you're still active, you're still doing stuff. So we post a lot of like where we'll post a list of what events we're going to be at, and we find we get a lot more foot traffic at those events because we'll get people whose kids have saved up their pocket money.
Oh, that
And then
is
they
so cute. That's adorable.
yeah,
That's
that's
adorable. I like
very
that.
cute. We have a lot of kids who treat our stuff as sort of like a collect them all. So they'll buy one and then they're hooked. They want to get all the different types.
That is
So like,
so cool, man. So you
yeah, a
guys
few
have
weeks.
really built a brand around this.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's definitely selling stuff that we really believe in and enjoy ourselves. So my kids love them. We have a long running list of whenever there's a spare moment, we've got to do a print for them. So it's definitely something that we have around our own house and we use. And I think people sort of see that and like that genuine interaction with your own product and being able to tell people, this is play tested. I had to snatch it out of my daughter's hands to bring it here. And I think that's something that people are really looking for in this world, is sort of a more genuine approach and something that, you're not just selling a mass marketed product.
Right.
This is
it comes from
something
the
that,
heart.
yeah, it's something that I made, I enjoyed, I thought someone else would enjoy, so I'm sharing it.
Awesome. Well, dude, that's really it for us, man. What is your number one? Let's close it up with your number one tip for anyone who wants to start their own 3D printing business.
Stick at it.
Persistence.
I would say,
okay. So when beginning of the episode, Mariah kept saying, it took a month to print a dragon. Maybe she's exaggerating, maybe 2 weeks, but even then, there was a lot of technical issues, and that's really what happens in 3D printing, right? And so you're saying persistence and grit.
Yeah. So it's sort of, it can be a bit disheartening. You print this really gorgeous thing and you're super proud of it and you post it and it gets 2 views and 1 like, and you're sort of like, oh, why bother? But it does happen and it does grow, and it's that persistence. So I'm a very stubborn person, and I'll stick at pretty much anything if I put my mind to it. And it really is just stick at it. It will happen. Sometimes it's slower, sometimes it's faster. Sometimes you get this huge snowball effect and it happens really quickly, and then it will just drop off. And everything stops and you're like, oh, well, that was fun. Maybe I'll just pack it in now. But no, really stick at it. Persistence is key.
There you go.
Yeah, we've had our fair share of setbacks, and it's just sticking at it and trying to fix the problems and keep going. And it really has paid off.
All right. May, thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. You guys, if you have any other questions, if you guys need me, email us down below. Make sure you guys join the membership program where you guys can get unlimited downloads to my entire archive of files, including the Flexies and the Creature Crate. Link for that in the description below. May, thank you so much. Go get some breakfast. Possibly some sleep. I know your daughter has been screaming for you. Elizabeth has been screaming for you. And David's like, help. Right. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you guys for being here. Peace out.
Thank you. See ya.